Okay, this is how I schedule my homeschool week. I'm using a PLUM paper planner, the 8.5 by 11 size, in the hourly. It works really well for me, but I know other people like to use different planners. I normally plan it a week in advance. I don't know if I already said that, but I like to plan it a week in advance. It gives me enough time to see what all I need to do. So I start out by writing down what I do in the morning. This is before my kids wake up. So I have my Bible reading, and down here is the portion of scripture that I read each day. So I already have that written down, so I know what I'm reading. And then after that, I do my scripture memory, and then I pray, and I write down next to this the psalms that I'm going to pray. Every day I try to pray one psalm for my husband and one for my kids. So I write that down there. And then DEV stands for devotions. I write down what portion of scripture I'm going to use for devotions with my kids that morning. Every morning I do a devotion with my kids, and it usually comes from whatever I read that morning. So I'll take a portion of this scripture and do devotions with my kids. It's normally just a verse or two, and I try to kind of give a little bit of exegesis and life application, and we talk about it and discuss it. And then you can see I've color coded it. I like to use yellow for if I have to go somewhere or if someone's coming here. So like on Monday, they're installing our new HVAC. So I have that, and then I have to go to Walmart for my grocery pickup. And then what I do is our main meal is lunch, because my husband works evenings. So I write down what I'm cooking for lunch that day. And I like to have it already written down, so there's no question about, do I have what I need in the fridge to cook this, or do I have time to cook this, or whatever. It's just already planned out for me, so I don't really have to think about it. And then if it's going to take me a while to cook that thing, or if it's complicated or whatever, I'll like write down the steps and at what time they need to be done. Like you can see for the pizza here, I've written down the night before I need to make the pizza dough, and then that morning I need to go ahead and put the dough in the pan so it has time to rise before I bake the pizza. And then my chores I have in blue, and it just makes it easier for me to remember everything if it's color coded. I don't know why. I don't know. It like my brain just remembers it better, and it's easier for me. So I do the same chores every week on the same day. The way I have it written out, everything falls into place. Everything works right in my schedule for each chore on the day that it's supposed to be done. So I don't really change it up. So I try not to do any chores on Monday because my husband is home that day. And I just want to have time to spend with him, so I don't do any chores that day. Well, except for like, of course, the obvious, like sweep up and make the beds, stuff like that. But I don't do any specific chores. But on Tuesday, I clean the bathrooms and I clean the fridge. And we do school 4 days a week. That's what works for us. We have co-op during the school year. And I mean, you might be asking me, why are we doing school in July? Well, we're starting to do school year round. We're trying that this year, so we're doing school in July. So I have school written down, and then 1-3. That just means Unit 1, Day 3, so I can remember. Our curriculum is open and go, so I don't really have to plan out exactly what we're doing for school. I can just open the curriculum guide and it tells me, but I like to know what day I'm doing of school. So I have that written down. And then Wednesday, I pay the bills, whatever bills need to be paid. And then I clean the toilets, tub, and shower and mop the living room. And then these little dots are for the 4 32-ounce bottles of water I try to drink each day. So after I drink one, I bubble in the circle so I don't forget. Then we'll flip to the other side. Sorry, it's stuff falling out. So the same thing here. And then if my husband has the day off or if it's a holiday, I'll just mark that in the green space up here so I don't forget. So yeah, he has this Friday off, and he doesn't normally have Fridays off, so that's why I wrote it down. On Thursdays, I mop the kitchen and I clean my car, and then we're doing school that day, and then lunch, and then I need to remember to defrost the chicken for the chicken I'm going to roast next week. So I have that written down because I would forget. I would totally forget to do anything unless I wrote it down. I'm really, really, really bad to forget. And then on Fridays, I clean the microwave and I clean my kids' playroom, which is upstairs. And then we do school. And then on Saturday, normally I would meal plan this day because I would go to Walmart for my grocery pickup on Monday. But since this is the end of a month, I have to wait to go to the grocery store until Thursday for budget reasons because it would just mess up my whole budget. So I try to start, I try to make my first grocery purchase of the month on the first day of the month. So, yeah, normally I would have Saturday morning just blocked off for meal planning, but, and doing my planner, but not this Saturday. So just have the morning free that day, I guess. And then I wash the sheets and I vacuum and mop the bedrooms on Saturday. And of course, Sunday, church. And I still have all my Bible reading planned out so that I know in advance. And yeah, like I said, if I get to the end of a month, normally I just plan out a week. But if I get to the end of the month and there's like a couple days that run in to the next week, I'll go ahead and plan those days, and that's what I've done here. So Monday, again, my husband has that day off, so I try not to do any chores. But I need to roast a chicken that morning for dinner. And then I wrote here start dinner at 12 because just so I don't have to think about it, just so I can be like, okay, I know I have to start dinner at 12, so I don't have to do the math in my head, because when that happens, I end up being late cooking lunch, and then it's just annoying. So I write that down, and then we're going to do school that morning, and then I'm going to be doing my meal planning on Tuesday instead of Saturday because I'm going to have to go to Walmart on Thursday. So I like to do that at least 2 days in advance, and then clean bathrooms, clean the fridge, and then I'm going to start dinner at noon. And yeah, it's just basically the same thing as the previous week. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything, but that's what works for us, and we like to do school in the mornings because that's when my youngest son takes a nap. So he's not getting into everything, and my kids usually are in a better mood in the morning. But yeah, that's about it.